So, hello again. It has been 2 days since I last filmed, so the glue has definitely had a lot of time to dry, and on this seam you can see it didn't quite fully take. There is a part at the top where it took very well, but the other bit is loose, whereas on this seam it's very, very connected. I can't push it apart. It worked very well. So it's just weird, like some of the areas it seeped in a lot and so it didn't stick as well, but then other areas it worked better, like that area. So I don't know, I'm just gonna have to definitely play around with it. And here's the cuff. You can definitely still see a little bit of glue showing through, but it's not terrible. It definitely is a little wrinkled in some areas, but it does the job. And I still have this long thread connected to it that I'll use to sew up that seam and then around the top. So that is my current plan, and yeah, that's where I'm going to start off.
Fantastic.
So as you can see, I have finished the sleeve. It's a very rough finish. The insides are still very raw and unfinished, as you can see right here. But I'm going to wait to tack anything down further, just because, you know, the struggle of putting a non-stretch fabric over a stretch fabric, and something I didn't think of until actually doing it, was that it would reduce the amount of stretch that is available for the fabric. And my husband's hand and arm and wrist are all quite a bit bigger than mine, so it's just going to be a matter of making sure that it fits. So yeah, I'm just going to wait to do the other cuff until I can make sure that it is actually the right size and it's not going to impede his movement and be impossible for him to slip onto his much larger hand. So with all of that being said, I am going to move on to a different portion of the jacket, and that's going to be the neck seam, attaching that hood to the jacket. And I don't know, like, I'm hoping that this seam glue will work okay. It just seemed to seep through so much into the jacket, but where it did connected it very well. So we will see and hope and pray for that. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna need to see and make sure that his cuff will fit, so that I don't put in all that hand sewing work for nothing. see me here is switching on to the bottom portion of the jacket, the white portion that goes around the edge hem, the bottom hem of the shirt, the jacket. So what I was doing was just snipping off those zipper ends so it doesn't confuse the zipper, and going ahead to attach it to the bottom. I decided that it wouldn't be a good idea to glue it all the way down just because I wanted it to have stretch still, and I learned from the sleeves, and even though both of these materials were that stretchy fabric, I didn't want any stretch to be lost for him. So what I did was I sewed along the very top of it and along the sides at the zipper point so that it could go and still be that stretch. It's just hanging over, and that way it could still be very comfortable and stretchy for him. This part was probably one of the longest and most time-consuming parts of this whole project, just because it was a lot of hand sewing, and just trying to be very precise and accurate and small stitches so that it would really, really stay in place. Another challenge was definitely how thick the fabrics were. You can see me sometimes like grabbing my little thimble. It's the green thing that I put on my finger just so I can get it through that fabric, because some of that fabric was very, very thick. I used a lot of threads. You can see me really extending my hand as I pull out in some of these portions just because I didn't want to run out of thread too many times. I had to switch threads a couple times, but yeah, definitely a lot of thread. Another thing that was really difficult too was there was a bit of fraying that happened where I cut along the long side of that stretch of fabric. So I was able to minimize it by trying to just be very, very delicate and gentle with it. But that was something that I later went back and used nail polish, clear nail polish along the edges of it just to seal in those edges so that they didn't fray, didn't go anywhere. But yeah, that definitely was something that helped, but that was definitely one of the biggest challenges of this project for sure. So here you can see this finished hem. It goes all the way along the bottom. You can see there's only one zipper on the red. I did cut that off on the white. You can see a few stitches taking through just from this red fabric, but most of the time I was able to kind of avoid that. It's not very noticeable. And then I did shellac these edges. They're very, very hard now because of the clear nail polish that I just put along the edge and along these edges too, just to keep it from without fraying, to not fray anymore. You can see I still have little bits of fabric that have from the cuts that I've made on different things. But yeah, that's what the jacket is looking like at the moment. I did go and test the sleeves, the cuffs for Eric, and those worked just fine. I still need to go and make these a little bit more comfortable for him on this inside part. I did the second one after I tried with him, and I was able to make it a little bit more stretchy. I think this is the first one, yeah, because that one doesn't stretch very much. Yeah, this is the second one because it's a bit bigger. But yeah, the cuffs are still a little raw, but Megacon is in 2 days, so I am just, yeah, just making sure that all the big pieces are done before I go into the little bits.